Well, the weather for the whole of the south of England will continue as it has for the next few weeks. It's going to be hot and moist, with temperatures rising steadily as time goes on. There's a chance of steamy moments as we move into the... sod it. We never wanted to do this. We never wanted to be weathermen and women making innuendos about hot atmospheres and drizzly countries. We didn't want to be child-friendly. We didn't want to bang on about being for over 18s only. We want to talk about our sexy adventures. We want to be lifestylers, leaping from bush to bush as we sail down the rivers of British sex clubs and mountains of crazy experiences. The cheeky purple mamba, the liquid silk pumped liberally into our hand, the rodeo classic brief harness complete with Tantus curve, the Enjoy Pure One stainless steel dildo, the hot octopus digit, the ever so short messages on Fab Swingers, the sexy friends on Twitter, and the mighty vanilla alternative. With my best girlie by my side, we'd swing, swing, swing.
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice, you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well, 'cause it's bed hopping time.
Hello and welcome to episode 99 of the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
How exciting, episode 99.
It's like a Mr. Whippy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was like the classic ice cream from my childhood,
So-
where you would get a Whippy ice cream with a flake in it. A
Take this
99.
episode and stick a flake in the side.
I don't know. Is that something that happens all around the world?
Maybe, I don't know.
I need to know.
Do you have 99 ice creams?
And I think they were called 99s because they were 99p. Is that right?
I don't know.
Either way, a Mr. Whippy ice cream is a 99.
Please stay
and
tuned.
this is episode
for more
99.
ice cream chat on the Bed Hoppers
Ice cream
podcast.
chat.
As we chat generally. Well, actually, this episode is a part 2.
Oh, yes, of course.
So we recorded an episode with the delightful By the By podcast with their special guest, The Gentleman. And on their show, in fact, episode 253. All right, show offs.
Episode 983 for them, yeah.
Stardate 4132. But no, if you go and check out episode 253 from By the By, you'll hear the first part of this, this podcast.
Yeah.
Now, you probably need to hear that before you hear this one.
I would say so. But if, like me, you don't listen to podcasts, then whatever. You
then
can just
what are you
listen
doing
to
here?
this.
Yeah, if you don't listen to podcasts, then you've probably come to the wrong place.
If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you.
Exactly that. So we recorded with them and had a great time talking about Dan Savage's Hump Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And in this episode, we review the Hump Fest, talk about what it's about, what is it. Well, not this particular episode, that's in their episode.
Yes.
But in this one, we're carrying on the conversation about what some of our favourite films were during that whole session. Now, if you don't know what Hump Fest is, it's really a festival of porn that people submit out in the world to Dan Savage, and they play it over, normally, a select number of screenings. But because of pandemic, this was screened on the interwebs, and we were all able to watch it.
Yeah. One good thing to come out of the interweb, COVID, that we got to watch porn.
Well, it was really good fun. So I want to say a huge, massive thank you to By the By for putting out the episode first. So go and jump over, listen to that one, and then come back to this one, and the conversation will carry on magically in your ears, and it will be like you're just listening to one big podcast, which we could have put out. But
who wants to sit there and listen to us rattle on about porn for 2 hours?
Exactly. Well, even if you do, you can do that by listening to their show and then listening to our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hump Fest.
Hump Fest. So let's do the thing, and then we'll see you after. Right, Bradford, your show.
My next one was, shocker to everybody who's listening, Pup Play. I'll read the synopsis.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, the sign language one. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
A hearing girl and their beloved deaf pup have an ecstatic afternoon of training and play. Affection transforms into primal desire, and lines between fantasy and reality are blurred.
Lennox and Magnolia, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And this one really fights with the previous one that we just spoke about for my number 2. And it wasn't like, I loved the pet play representation, which I'm not trying to ride that horse, pun intended, but I know, right? But I think what I absolutely adored about this one was, for me, sign language has this, it's a magical, it's going to sound like I'm fetishizing it, and I'm really not, but there's something magical about sign language. There's something magical about being able to communicate with somebody without words. And I think from a podcast point of view, we can all appreciate the fact that the way that we reach our listeners every week is with our words. And imagine a situation in which our listeners can't get what we're saying to them, and we can't express what we're trying to express to them the way we do, the way we're used to doing it. And then you kind of fast forward that and saying, okay, well, imagine if you couldn't express what you wanted, or your partner couldn't express what they wanted with their words. Because we often say, how do you want to feel tonight? What do you want to do tonight? What do you want me to do tonight? And the point in this little scene, which is just it's just a pup play scene between two people. The point that really gets me is when she signs to him and says, you can bite me, but just a little. And so fortunately there's subtitles so that we can understand what's being said, but it's a magical, beautiful moment. It's just like, oh, I love it. And then there's a moment later on in the film where he takes off the hood and from behind. And so we see first the ear gauges and like this, like, it's a beautiful, fucking hot, sexy scene.
Kind of strange, right? I thought about you, Bradford, when I watched this particular film.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I don't know why. Honestly, it was the strangest thing. When we were watching it, you came into my mind. Not kind of putting you in that position.
Literally came all over our mind.
No, honestly, it's the strangest thing. He literally popped into my head when he removed the when they removed the harness thing, and you saw the back of their head, and then I instantly, for some reason, you flashed into my mind. That's very, very
I take that as a compliment, because that human was very, very attractive. Was like, that's the kind of human I hunt.
How strange though that you did enter my mind.
Oh,
yeah. And what I liked about this one was the connection between them. But also, if you think about it, you talk about sign language in this one, but with our dogs, we do very often use hand signals, and we do often use those physical cues with them. And it kind of makes me think, like, why don't we do that in pet play? It kind of makes sense that we should. Maybe we could incorporate that a bit more.
Yeah.
I appreciated the closed captioning throughout the whole lot, because I whenever there's closed captioning, I tend to not be able to not read it.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes it gets distracting, but there was a lot of information in the captioning that was there that you wouldn't otherwise pick up, because I suppose I'm not attuned to that. I'm more obviously trained to listening to someone's voice or the auditory experience of that. But reading what was going on, I think, was good to see everything, all the emotions and everything that were going on underneath in the subtitles. And they're relaying that back to what I was watching. I thought that drew me into the film a lot more, and I liked that aspect of it.
Yeah,
I think it was just really nice to see that level of representation, especially around sign language. And
yes,
I'm going to go back a bit here. As a very young child, my hearing was not really there. So for the first sort of 4 years of my life, I didn't really hear very much, and I'm a massive advocate for sign language and for captions wherever available, just to help support people to go through this. He says doing ironically, a podcast that you can only listen to, but it does me. It's one of those cases where I think often we forget that people can't always hear things, and especially doing what we do. So to see that represented in the festival and see it represented in porn was really important to me. And I really appreciated the fact that you could read what was happening, but also that they captured what was going on with the song, sometimes slightly hilariously because the song wasn't great. But it was really nice to see that for a change. And I'm surprised actually that it wasn't an option. And it might have been, I suppose, we just might have missed it for the whole thing, because it feels like
I didn't see it either.
As a festival, this was very, very inclusive, and it was. But I was really pleased to see this be part of the whole show. Mrs. H,
what?
It's your go.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So if it's my go, so I've already been humped by Bradford because he chose.
And I've already came in your mind.
Yeah.
Because you chose final exams. Was it you that chose that? Anyway, either way, someone humped me with that. So
that was Angela.
That was Angela, sorry. So one of my other choices was already been humped. So my final one then was motorsexual.
Hump.
Oh, cool.
Sort of-
I'm glad someone
It
else
was like
chose
a
that.
tertiary hump, I guess. It was like highly recommended hump.
Bradford, why don't you synopsis us when you find it?
Motorsexual. Hard vanilla. Gets greasy under the hood, showing what it means to really love your truck. A true full-service oil change.
Beautifully described.
Thanks. I try.
I mean, I wouldn't have described it as that at all. I'm not very descriptive.
Mrs. H's description. Person fucks car.
Basically, yes. Then has a beer.
Hey, there was foreplay involved.
There was foreplay.
There was a lot of foreplay.
There was. Yeah, she got under the hood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not sure if Mr. H is surprised at this choice of mine as one of my
No,
my
I thought
favourites.
you'd change it up again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
God.
Oh God. I'm
definitely off the
sorry.
beaten track.
Look, you are a step away from Bradford bringing Roadhead back into things. I would pipe down if I were you.
That's just fuel for the fire.
We did have pizza tonight, and I got to be honest, I wouldn't say no to a blowjob.
Mr. H would if it was in a moving car and he'd had pizza. I'm
No
sorry,
comment.
dear. Anyway, back to motorsexual. So,
Just no comment. I feel bad for him now. I feel kind of guilty.
you don't, because you'll still keep bringing it up
You
I
brought it up.
don't. You're the one that brought it up.
this time. I was doing it all like just to get it out there because I could see Bradford was getting ready.
Honestly, I'd forgotten.
What? God damn it.
I've had nearly 2 bottles of wine. I'm fine.
All right, so motorsexual. I really enjoyed the whole look of how it was shot. I thought it was really well done. She had like tons of tattoos and a kind of white bodysuit on, and then a load of I suppose it's supposed to be oil was like thrown all over the body kind of thing, but it looked like chocolatey syrup stuff to me. So I didn't really get the whole this is meant to be oil. But anyway,
How did you
I don't know.
not get that was meant to be oil?
I guess I know it was meant to be oil, but I don't know.
Look, there were multiple arguments in our household over what that was.
Yeah,
It's meant to be oil, but
Yeah.
it couldn't have been oil, and it couldn't have been chocolate syrup because it was going inside of them, and you wouldn't do that. So
Also, Angela claimed that clean motor oil is
it's
kind
not
of
that,
yellowy.
It's not that dirty.
Yeah, it is
and
kind of
also,
clear.
dirty motor oil is not.
It's not that smooth. Yeah.
I'm putting
I couldn't
lube
get over the
with
fact that it was
squid
oil.
ink down.
Yeah.
Squid ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squid ink.
Yeah, it's normally
I
quite
hope
healthy.
that's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you buy squid ink on the internet, or do you have to go down to your local cephalopod store?
Yeah.
All right, let's get cracking.
All right.
No.
Well, I really enjoyed the whole thing
That was a
because
cephalopod joke,
You
wasn't
need a
it?
scuttle.
oh god, we've started something now, haven't we?
I love that Mrs. H just goes, okay, let's go on.
One
Yeah,
of the
I-
reasons
I
I
really-
enjoyed it was because I do enjoy watching solo scenes anyway. So it's something that appeals to me anyway, just watching somebody on their own, kind of enjoying their own time. But obviously they integrated with their car as well, which was quite interesting. But I actually really enjoyed the bit where they sit on the gear stick, because I was like, no, they're not going to do that, are they? Oh, cool. All right. So it was, I thought it was really well done. Really, really good to watch. You know, the sort of all the substances going everywhere and the heavily tattooed body. And then it was just fab to watch from begin to end for me.
It was difficult for me to watch without having in my head the like, pour some sugar on me. And that was kind of, it had that sort of bits of it where it was almost like a strippery kind of vibe and a kind of extroverty moment where it felt like it needed like that power kick-ass song just to really drive it. But, you know.
Drive it.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Lovely.
Oh
pun.
my God. So my issue with it, honestly, and this is the only issue I had, was there are a few moments when I watch things like this that I get hung up on something. And for me, I did get hung up on the lube. The fact that it looked like she was using dirty motor oil and she was drinking it and she was pouring it over her body and she was getting it on her white clothes. And I'm like, that's never coming out of those clothes. And on the car interior, and I'm like, there goes the value of your car or your truck. And then putting it inside her body. And I'm like, that is not healthy. No, I kept getting, every time I would start to get turned on, I would take one step turn towards arousal and then 2 steps back from like, that is not safe, healthy, or clean.
Bradford, as someone that's been typically against sex in a car, I approve of the actual vision that was presented.
Mr. H does not have sex in cars.
This is one of those times, Bradford, that you have to like suspend your disbelief,
Yes.
and it just have to be like what you see on TV is not always reality.
I know. And I even made fun of The Gentleman because I was like, they don't actually kill people in movies, right?
Yeah, as soon as they tasted the oil, I was like, nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know what it tastes like, and it's just like,
How do you know what it tastes like?
Like fixing my car and everything.
You suck it out? Is that?
No, but you get on your,
suck it out of the hose.
hands or whatever.
And you put your hands right in your mouth.
Well, yes, I used to. But the smell of it and the thickness of it, and it's just like, oh.
See, I like that. That's part of what I really liked about
That's
it.
the naughtiness of it.
Yeah, I thought that the person was really beautiful, and the way it was shot was, I think, very beautifully done. And I did like the imagery of the motor oil pouring over them, them getting under the car and then, of course, draining the oil and whatever. Just the whole thing. I just thought it was very beautifully done. And it kind of took me back to days when I would work on cars and stuff like that. Not that I would do it now, but it's that kind of a bit of nostalgia factor. And I mean, let's be honest, there probably aren't many women out there who haven't at some point thought about sitting on the gear stick. I mean, have you?
Mrs. H?
Deathly silence. Do you know what's interesting? I am the first one to freak out at any kind of mess anywhere. I literally hate it. But this, for some reason, I completely let that go. And I was okay with it all.
Is that a no or a yes then?
I artfully avoided that question.
I wouldn't say artfully.
No.
Shush. So in terms of the messing, I completely get what you mean, but I actually looked past that instantly and thought, no, I'm all over this. This is great. I could watch this. And weirdly, it gave me a flashback to a film I saw years and years and years ago called Tetsuo. I don't know if anyone's heard of
what?
Tetsuo.
It's in Body Hammer.
Body Hammer. Yeah, it was a Japanese film, and it was this like mesh of sex and metal and stuff. Look it up. It is quite an interesting watch. But it gave me a flashback to a kind of film I watched so many years ago where there was this fusion of, metal and sex going on. And I was like, oh, I remember that. And maybe that trigger alone gave me that.
Is this where my love of Transformers is finally going to come in handy for me?
You wish. Yeah, you wish.
Hey, baby, you want to see something that's more than meets your eye?
You are Optimus Fine.
Maybe also this fusion of, human kind of having some kind of sexual feeling for an inanimate object. I don't know. There was something about it that just pulled me a little bit, and I found it quite compelling, even though it didn't necessarily make me think I need to go away and masturbate now. It was more of this is really interesting to watch. I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I respect that.
All right.
Thanks.
So back to me, is it?
Yeah.
Now? Okay. Oh, exciting time. So the one I have left is I quite like this one. It's just Snakebus.
Oh, the snake.
The snake one. And I just found it funny. And I liked the way that it was made. And it's clearly a couple just faffing around in their house. Bradford, do you want to read the...
Sure.
It was. It really was.
The Snakebus. An evil warlock casts a sexy spell, but he may get more than he bargained for.
Thanks. That pretty much sums it up. So, I mean, it's a strange one in that it's a guy that turns a snake into a woman, fucks the woman, and the woman turns the guy into a snake. That's kind of the
basic revenge plot, yeah.
That's the gist of it. Yeah.
That's it.
And
that's the elevator speech.
guy fucks snake.
let's boil it down even more.
Ultimately, snake fucks man.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
escapes and then gets his
the whole
revenge.
story is a snake eating its own tail.
This sounds like Jurassic Park. Man fucks snake, snake fucks man. A drop of
Woman
water on the back of your
inherits
hand. Yeah, butterfly wings in New York, storm. I don't know. I liked the way it was done, and clearly it's just a couple just fucking around in the bedroom or their flat or whatever. But I like the fact that it had a level of humour to it, and I like the style of it, in that it had this like it was filmed on like an old piece of kit, and it had all the flecks of film coming down it, and it sort of
it's quite juddery, wasn't it?
Juddery, and it had this sort of.
It was like a Super 8 film.
Yeah, like a
From the 70s.
Yeah, definitely like a 70s kind of Euro film. And then at the end, it flips and it goes back to normal when the lady has sort of now got her own snake to come out.
Oh,
of
and
whatever.
she's all fluffy.
And it's all nice. But what I really loved is that at the end, all the credits were like little jokes, and there were some Star Trek: The Next Generation ones with Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
Yes, Jean-Luc Picard was one that I even commented on.
Yeah. So, and I kind of like the fun of it. It wasn't as funny as the Final Exams one, I didn't think, but it kind of had a charm. Plus, I know so many people that look a bit like the rock dude that was the wizard.
The
generic like rock dude who's clearly, got tattoos of whatever all over him and stuff. So I enjoyed it for that reason.
And it had
a Led Zeppelin beard.
Heavy metal like track over the top of the whole thing, didn't it, as well, which was like constantly reminding you of what it was trying to give you, this like metal edge and his nefarious intentions with the snake.
Yeah. And it had a snake in it, so what more do you want?
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to be honest. It was one of my least favorite. For me, it floated down to the bottom. I think my biggest issue with it, and I get it because he's created this sex object out of a snake, but there was a lot of consensual non-consent without the conversation behind consensual non-consent.
Yep.
So he creates a snake. He has a snake. He creates a woman from the snake. He immediately ties her up and then fucks her in different ways. And there's a couple of times that she looks at camera with I think what they were going for was bored look.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's just sort of, there was flat and nothing. So there was no passion.
It almost looked like disdain at some point.
Yeah.
I would agree.
There's just, there was just nothing. And so I don't know. I mean, I do get there was a bit of a giggle to it, but I think I didn't like what I was presented with.
And did you hear the music at the beginning when she was all tied up? There was this repetitive "she said no," being repeated over and over. Yeah.
And I get why they've kind of used that and given that bored feeling for ultimately the laugh. I said laugh, but the sort of twist at the end where he's, the thing happens to him. And that's kind of why I forgave some of that other stuff, because I enjoyed that twist, however obvious it was at the end. But I kind of like the style and over the substance more than anything else, and the way that it was done.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I did like how she flies.
Yeah. I imagine that he was just lifting her up just off camera.
That's one of those beautiful editing moments where you're like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, exactly that. Gentlemen?
My favorite, my number one, without a doubt, was Pop's Corn.
Oh,
Can you read the synopsis for us, please?
What a shocker.
Yes. Pop's Corn. Bratty boy slut won't stop fussing till his daddies serve a spit roast unlike any other.
So when this movie began, I thought, well, this is no good. This is going nowhere. It was too corny. It was too cheesy.
Too corny.
Oh, you like that? But it was two guys really bad acting on a green screen sort of camping background, and I sort of thought it would have been easier just to go in a park and pretend to be camping, and then you realize why they couldn't do that.
And why is that, gentlemen?
No barbecues allowed in open spaces.
No open fires. That's what it must have been. So then the old granddad, whoever it was, Pop,
who was playing a bratty little boy.
who was playing a bratty little boy, wanted to have corn for dinner. So the two guys either side of him start sounding themselves, which came out of nowhere. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is getting interesting. And then they got a bit of corn and were lathering the corn. And I was just like, where is this going? And then they shoved the sounding rod through the middle of the corn. It protruded both ends of the corn. And then they proceeded to sound themselves on either side of the corn. While it was still inserted in their penises, they rolled it in butter and fed it to the pop.
Yeah.
And I was cheering, make him eat it, make him eat it.
Oh, you should have seen his face. And he was doing this. And he was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah,
That was great.
Yeah, so this one.
And then the acting was brilliant.
the acting was never brilliant.
But the faces, it was done that way for a specific reason. That's what it was.
The facial expressions did make me laugh a lot, to be fair, when they were like doing their exaggerated, ooh.
Yeah, they were. Everything was just over the top. It was great.
See, I felt that the acting and the facial expressions, I felt like that was a bit Nick Cagey, and that it's just like that bit. It's a bit.
I will never look at Nick Cage the same way again.
Deep or dumb?
Yeah, it's that over the top of like, you're being cheesy just for the sake of being cheesy, and you're just kind of having fun with it. So I actually appreciated the acting of the two guys. My issue was with the grandfather, the older guy, doing the little boy thing. I get that. I don't know if that was a purposeful juxtaposition or if like that's how that person actually acts and that's a persona that they play in. But that just felt a little icky to me. I didn't quite like that, but I did very much enjoy the whole sounding thing and the corn cob thing. My only concern was when they stuck the sounding rod through the corn cob, like, was it clean and whatnot before it went into the other person's penis?
It was two sounding rods. Yes, both of you are goofballs. There were two separate sounding rods. Yeah. They met in the middle in the corn.
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb. I want one big one.
Yeah, I thought it was one. I thought he had.
What is wrong with you people? My issue comes down to accents. Yes, it was made in Germany. I think it came from Berlin. But they started out like they were in basically West by God, Virginia, or East Kentucky, my birthing grounds, and that the old man / little boy, weird, was going, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. And then when they offered him one food, instead of going, no, 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 he went, 9, 9, 9. And I was like, really?
That was your takeaway from it?
I have thoughts.
Look, I didn't like it at all. I like, if you had taken just the dick scenes where they're putting in the sounding rods and then into the corn, I'm like, all right, yeah, this is cool. This is different. But the man baby, fucking, like Angela said, it just made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it. I don't think that was done cleverly or well.
That was the bit that made you uncomfortable. The bit that made me uncomfortable was the giant metal rods going down the tip of a penis.
Look, it was look, I've already filmed a film in which we could send to Hump. That was that. So yeah.
It's strange. I've got such a strong constitution for anything gory, uncomfortable, and pleasant to watch, but that is the one thing that actually elicits a really visceral reaction in me, and I cannot for life of me stomach it. It is very uncomfortable to watch. No, the sounding.
So I thought the thing was, I had a couple of issues with it, but
you don't like corn for one, do you?
I hate corn
it's
for
natural enemy.
One of my natural enemies. Yeah, I think this, in an interesting way, this is the one that you'll tell people about when you leave Humpfest. I think this is probably the one that if you want to kind of give them a "what the fuck is this about?" it's probably the one that will spring to mind because it's quite memorable and quite out there.
And it was the last one as well.
It was the last one.
So there's that. I also think that it starts off, as you say, gentlemen, on this green screen. And it kind of reminded me of Resident Evil, like the first PlayStation game. You know, where it's like a static background and people just stood in the middle of it. So I kind of almost wanted to, just push up and get them walking towards the wall and just keep walking. You can't see it, podcast people, but I am pretending to be walking against a wall.
I wish people could see it.
Yeah, thank you. So it had that in it, and then I think you're right, Bradford, around the sort of strange baby old man bratty approach that was just weird, and it felt like a caricature. The actual sounding piece, it's not my jam, but it was, and the corn on the cob thing was actually quite an interesting joke. It's got, I think Mrs. H is rolling her eyes here and crying.
Not really.
I just love corn on the cock is now my. That's what needs to be on a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah, there we go. And but that had that been executed in a different way, would have been a bit more interesting. And I think you're right. It's the green screen as well that's with this strange static forest background that feels like almost when you get that pre-rendered look on video games. It just made me feel weird looking at it because it's clearly not real. And I'd rather they almost just did it in their kitchen or whatever and made a thing of it. And it could have been a lot funnier as a result without the stereotypes and without the thing. I mean, you could have done it as a dinner party sketch type thing if you want to go down that road and, and build up all the different menu options in different ways. And then that would have been a crescendo to the end. And that would have...
But that would have made the film much longer.
Yes.
I think you could have done that quickly and it would have still been just as funny. Yeah. Because there was a lot of faffing about.
There was, but I also disagree. I think that the green screen kind of added to the overacting and like the cheesy acting of it. Yes, and I think that kind of fed into that realm. And if they'd been in a plain environment, then that cheesiness I don't think would have played off as well.
It kind of set it up as if that the whole thing was a goof.
Yeah,
because they weren't taking it seriously.
Yeah, and I think that bothered me. And anybody who knows us at all knows that I do not like brat play, and that was a 60-year-old man doing brat play, and I think there is nothing for me that is a bigger turnoff than I'm very, very attracted to 60-year-old men who are strong silver foxes kind of men. And this fellow was playing a bratty 5-year-old boy. And I don't like brat play with anybody. It's not fun. It's not fun. I mean, I get that some people love it and I'm not trying to yuck your yum, but for me, it's just exhausting. It's work and I don't want to do it.
There's a show in Britain, a very old show called Steptoe and Son. It's like, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but is Bernard Cribbins the guy in it?
I can't remember.
But anyway, there's a sitcom thing called Steptoe and Son about this very old man and his son, and they have like a
and the catchphrase was, "You dirty old man."
Yeah, but the old man looks just like the guy in this film.
Oh, wow.
This really kind of senile, weird old dude.
I don't know, was he an actual old dude or was he a young dude playing an old dude being a young dude? Was it an old dude?
No, he's an old dude.
Definitely not one of my favourites, but actually one of the ones that I would typically recall now every time I think of Hump Fest, and every time I will kind of recollect about what kind of content I've seen, it will unfortunately be up there with something that's very memorable.
It's hard to forget, and you know when you're trying to describe Hump Fest to somebody, you know the wonderful thing about the sign language and the pet play and the music and the thing. Nope, it's going to be two dudes with some corn between them.
Oh my god.
So I guess they achieved their goal in the sense that it's definitely a talking point and it's definitely got people, you know, embracing different kind of things. And sounding is not something that we ever want to explore, I would assume.
I'm very keen not to.
Very keen not to, and me too. But again, it's something that obviously we know people do enjoy, and obviously we've one of a few podcasts I have listened to. I did listen to your episode where you've covered that extensensively. And it's still...
Did you see the video?
Have you seen the video?
I believe I did.
I don't think we did.
Yes, we did. Wasn't Angela wearing like a nurse outfit and had gloves on and stuff?
Yeah, her latex nurse outfit.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know where we saw it, but we've seen it.
On the internet.
Not see it?
Just on the interwebs.
Don't watch
the interwebs.
on our Patreon page.
On the website.
Nice.
I'm sorry, the website, but you have to have the password. Yeah. But anyway.
Who's next?
So for me, all of my top 3 are taken. One of my honorable mentions has already been mentioned, but I did have another honorable mention. It was Menage a Trois, because those were, I don't know, but those were 3 beautiful humans.
It won Best Sex.
It won, something I remember.
Yeah.
Menage a Trois. In her dream, Kira is joined by Demi and Rob for a sensual and passionate menage a trois.
Beautifully filmed.
Very beautiful.
Looked lovely.
I loved the dream sort of sequence of it where she starts out and we're at a top down of her on the bed starting to touch herself and then suddenly hands crawl in.
Yes.
Yeah.
From each side.
That was good imagery.
Yeah, it's such a great imagery. It's such a great example of our own minds kind of thing.
My notes just say, dude has a huge cock. Lots of white space.
You are not wrong. He did have a huge cock.
Yes. Yes, I thought that all of them were beautiful in that one. And it was, like you said, Mr. H, it was very well filmed and just the aesthetic of it was really beautiful.
There was some really great eye contact in that as well.
Yeah. Oof. And the hair. My God,
the dreadlocks.
Everybody was gorgeous in that whole thing. They were just beautiful, beautiful people.
I thought it was beautifully done. It nearly made one of my my top three. Wasn't quite different enough, I suppose, to be interesting enough to be in my top three, because it was just basically some sax, but it was a beautiful representation of a threesome.
It was very heteronormative and very in that kind of, if you search porn, that might be something that you might get. But I thought it was so nicely done and created a really nice atmosphere that I agree with you, Angela. It's definitely one of the honourable mentions for me. It kind of felt like a nice piece of porn. I didn't know whether one of them was a porn star previously or not. I wasn't too sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That I don't know either.
No.
All three of them could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful humans.
Very much so. Bradford?
So all of my top three have been gone through, all but one of my honorable mentions. The last honorable mention that I have is Spanko.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So I will do the little blurb for it, which is an intimate and raw look at a woman's first time in Sir's hands, which I actually think is a terrible, terrible blurb for this.
Yeah.
I think a better blurb for this would have been a parable or fable about consent. I think that this piece sort of exemplified the importance of consent better than any other piece that we saw. So the quick blurb is, a lady goes to a kink sex party. She sees a photographer spanking a woman. She freaks out. Then he comes in. They talk. She has that great line where he goes, "What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?" And she immediately responds, "Who said I'm a nice girl?" And I love that because she's got that bravado. She's also a photographer. She asks him to spank her. It's her first time. I think what I loved about it was they had that consent conversation before it even started.
Yeah.
And basically he's like, "How do you want me to make you feel?" He didn't say those words, but we all got that's what do you want is what he's asking. She was very clear and specific about what she wanted. He gave her the free out on how to stop it. And I think most importantly, she didn't use the free out that he said. He said, if you want to stop, say red. But she said stop, but she said it in a way that he, as a dom, really respected it. And they had this, it was just really well done for a first timer who has never been in a kink scene. I think I thought that was so beautifully handled. There wasn't a lot that I liked about it other than the story, but I thought the story was so delicately and beautifully handled, even down to some of the directorial notes where he tried to touch her twice after spanking her. She slaps away his hands, but still puts her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's that aftercare that you get. But aftercare looks different for everybody. Some people it's cuddles and hugs. Some people it's just knowing that the person is there.
I think this is almost sort of required viewing for new people going into that environment. It should almost be this might help you get your head around some of the stuff that could happen. And it was you're right. I think it was filmed really delicately and quite subtly, but there was enough good stuff in there that I actually felt, this is how you might approach that situation. This is how you might feel. Yeah, it looked a bit like another 90s indie film to me, but the actual message was very strong. And I felt that it was, in fact, if you took out the speech, you could almost lay down a music track, probably something by Alanis Morissette or something, and play that. And it would be a music video in the way that it sort of tells that story quite nicely. Whilst it didn't make me feel sexy, it did make me think, and it did make me stop and go, this is... And there were a few films in the whole thing that are there to design to make you go, oh, or, And it was definitely one of those for me, one of those good message ones.
I agree. It didn't make me feel sexy. I think what connected me to it so viscerally was how quickly in a sub in a scene, you can go from 100% into it to 100% not into it, and how important it is for the Dom to recognize that and respect that. And I think that that's what they did so well. I've been in those positions where, I'm sub, and then suddenly something in my brain switches and I need to get out of the scene. And I've been very fortunate in all the Doms that I've been with in that they've respected that. And I think this is one of those things that this was the anti 50 Shades of Grey. This was so well handled, and that the Dom respects her immediately.
I also liked her at the end of the film. She woke up out of bed seemingly the next morning, and then she looks at herself in the mirror and sees the red marks on her ass. And there was that moment of self-reflection or contemplation that whether or not she liked it or like just...
It kind of let you put the thoughts in. And I felt like she was happy. I felt positive. I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of had the feeling that it was a positive experience, but she was still processing it.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other highly recommendeds that we'd like to get out there?
So there were two others that I liked because I thought that they were entertaining, not necessarily because I think I necessarily learned anything from them, but I did very much like just the way they were done. That was Cock Monkey and the Bicer, the one with the tongues.
Both the animated films.
Yeah, the two animated ones. I liked that the way they were done. I thought they were entertaining, and especially the tongues. That kind of took me. I was like, that's not what I was expecting, but I liked it.
That reminded me of years ago when Gears of War came out. Right, this is a really sad nerdy story.
Yes,
and they did like for the technology for Gears of War 2, they made like meat animations to show how the gore would come off and they had just like bits of gore sliding down hills and interacting with environments, and it reminded me of that. It was almost like a tech demo. What can we do with this? And it was like two gelatinous bits of meat just doing stuff. And it was fascinating the way they pulled that little animation together. I liked it.
Yeah,
the monkey one.
There was an ad in Australia about 10 or 15 years ago, and it was an ad it was a beer commercial. And as this guy was asleep, his tongue came out of his head, crawled down the street into the pub to get to the beer.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
It was pulled off TV because everybody, complained about it. But that's what it reminded me of. It was the same sort of looking tongue.
Detachable tongue does sound like a good thing to have, maybe.
I didn't like the noise of the tongues wrestling in that short film.
Yeah.
It was really... It reminded me of Slither, and I didn't like it.
I will say, it reminded me of Slither.
Yeah.
100%.
I love the film, Slither, but...
Night of the Creeps.
There was something about that noise that just made me like, I don't like this. And the Cock Monkey one, again, made me really irritated from beginning to end.
Shocker.
I
Shocker.
know.
It was bright, colorful, and irreverent. It made me
loud.
It just pissed me off.
It was mercifully short.
It was batshit crazy.
But it kind of didn't overstay its welcome, which I liked about it. It was kind of fun. I was like,
It was Pee Wee Herman does porn.
Yeah.
It was quick and then it was over.
Yeah.
I actually liked Sex Worky's work.
Yes. That's called Avery Jane.
Oh, the hipster and the pole dancer. That's what I just decided it was called.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Would you like to read the blurb?
Avery Jane is the story of an encounter between a sex worker and their client, showing a few simple things a client can do to make a sex worker feel comfortable.
I wrote, nice shadows in photography. Woman had huge shoes.
She had like the blazer stripper heels.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It was nice. It was nicely shot. I thought it kind of had a like a decent vibe to it.
You did.
Which I appreciated.
Like the only other thing I'm going to comment on is sex time with monster bait. Where everybody's wearing the monster masks and people are masturbating. I absolutely love the image of a man in a goblin mask rimming another man. There is something like I saw that and I thought
back on the menu, boys.
I just wrote down lots of cocks and bums.
Like, honestly, I was watching it and I'm going, I will never in my life see anything like this again. I'm not sad about it, but I'm also kind of like, oh, I'm glad I'm seeing a goblin eat another man's ass.
It was
another
like
goblin's
watching,
ass.
like
He's
MTV.
goblin ass.
It was like that. You know, MTV used to do that channel changing type thing. It just reminded me of that. I was like, okay, fine.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There was one film towards the end. I think it's called She, but with the S in brackets. Yeah. So
yes.
So all the way through that film, I was really, really worried that there was a very tiny drawer in the bedroom that was going to be falling out of a unit.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too.
Did you?
Oh my God,
I'm
you
so
too.
glad
It was the
someone
top
else
drawer.
noticed. It was the top drawer. It was hanging out of the unit, and I was,
It was
just
hanging
like,
out, and I thought,
oh
God,
my
you could have
God, that's
cleaned up
gonna
first.
fall out. It's just like constantly worrying me.
That was the one with the farts at the end.
The farts at the end.
Yeah.
They farted twice.
They were
yeah.
queefs. They were
Queefs.
Well,
You can't
whatever.
prove that.
You can't. How do you know they were queefs?
They were. Look, I've heard enough of both. I know what they sound like.
Either way, tiny jaw all the way through was like on the edge of falling out, and I was just really worried about that. So,
Well, I'm glad that you. Maybe
I know
they
she's
never
the
put that
strangest
drawer back in.
things.
Maybe it's permanently that way. Right now, it's there in their room, hanging out.
it's like you leave drawers open just to annoy me.
Yeah, I'll put a table mat at a slight angle.
And when you don't
just
shut a
to-
drawer properly, it really upsets me. And that's my takeaway from that film.
You know that
drawer.
one of the drawers in the bedroom isn't shut properly, don't you?
Don't. Stop it.
Mrs. H leaves the podcast to fix a drawer.
So, I think we've talked quite a lot about the films and some of the things that we've seen in some of our favourite bits. Big question. Would you submit a film to Humpfest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd let you submit one.
Okay.
That's a good answer, isn't it?
Thanks.
Because it means I have no creative drive whatsoever myself to come up with anything, but I would happily be involved
Oh, okay.
if someone else had more creative
So as long as you don't have to do anything,
flair than
you're in.
myself. Yeah, basically. It's my motto for most
Would
things
you wear
in
a
life.
goblin mask?
Yeah, why not?
I think
Would I fuck my car? Yeah, why not?
we've got an Ant-Man mask. We can bring that out. That'll be fine, right?
I'm game for anything.
So we'd all do one.
All of it collectively?
Well, we could all do
Oh my
one.
goodness.
What would
that'd
you
be
do?
amazing.
Oh my God.
What
We
would
have to
you-
get together first.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? We don't actually. That could be the concept of it.
Ah.
Ooh, the claw.
Like a Zoom
Look, I'm going to be
room.
honest. I've got one that I have in my mind that I'm not going to tell you because I don't want people to steal it because it's fucking brilliant. But I also have another one
Please tell us the other one, Bradford.
because I'm a content creator and all I do is think of shit like this.
A content
I think
creator.
it would be a content creator.
Oh, okay.
What did you think I said?
Content creator.
You was being lewd.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
A content creator.
Content.
I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
God damn it. Cunt. I think there would be something really funny to do a sort of quick cuts between, say, the five of us being interviewed before and or after an orgy with shots of the actual orgy, but done in the Office kind of style.
That's literally what
where
I've
you're-
written down.
Yeah.
No.
Are you
It's
serious?
Genuinely what I've written down.
You two are Oh, you two are
I think there would be
adorable.
something so funny about that.
We
They're
do
the same
share a
person.
brain.
Yeah.
do.
In
Yeah.
my head, it was kind of a little bit like talking about lifestyle or non-monogamy sort of interviews. and almost talking about like, oh, it's the friendships, it's the great connections, flashing back to orgy scene happening where it's like clearly about the sex in the background, and then just keeping
Angela getting
for
covered
me,
in
it would be you would hear somebody mouth like talk over and it's like very similar. What do you like about the relationships that you've developed? And then all of us would be like, the relationships, the friendships, the relationships. And then Mrs. H going, I like the fucking.
yes.
And like always have that as kind of the thing. It's like where her answer is the one that is the most honest. It's like, what do you hope to get out of the next meetup? Well, I really hope to grow closer to Mr. H. I really hope to grow closer to the gentleman. I really hope to grow closer to Mr. H, Bradford, and the gentleman. I want somebody to fuck me while they lick me ass. That's kind of what I want to see.
Yeah, that was kind of what I'd written down quite amazingly.
Oh my goodness, do you know what? You're not far off, because when we were in Desire, I seem to recall me sitting there one day and there was this, I don't know, circle of people all talking about what would they take away from this? Have they grown as a person? Have they found out anything new about themselves? And I was sat there thinking, man, I'd really like some nachos and then just go and have some sex. Like, that'd be really good.
I want some nachos and want to suck a dick.
Basically,
what do you want to take away from this? Nachos. Do they do take away nachos? And cock. Also, I'd like to get some cock. Oh my God. I love you guys.
We have become slightly hive-mindish here. The other thing that I kind of had in the back of my head was perhaps because, and maybe everyone's going to do this year, is some sort of thing where the only connections we can make quite often are the ones that we have digitally, and how you bring that to life. So maybe a story about how you can continue to maintain those relationships through things like Zoom and Skype and whatever. Or people trying to kiss with masks on, which also popped into my head. I feel like
I do expect that next year's Hump, there will be a lot more focus on the digital connections, I suspect.
I would be very surprised if there's not like 1,001 submissions. Of course, they'll probably go, right, we'll just pick the best one of this type out and then just chuck that on screen. And the rest of it will be whatever they throw out there.
Oh my God. I love it. You two, do you have any ideas?
No, I'm happy to submit something, but you have to do the idea thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the creative one.
Right.
Same here. Yeah.
I like the way my wife is clearly thinking, nachos, I'd like some nachos. Oh, a bit of dick would be quite good as well. Nachos.
She's going, nacho. Ooh, man. I want to get some nachos and man. Nacho, man.
And woman, she's equal opportunity.
Whoa, man.
Whoa, man.
I'm here. I'm here. I'll help with that.
What if we did a Star Wars theme one where the gentleman has a lightsaber in his cock sounding?
Oh my God, I'm game for this.
What, I'm asleep during this?
I feel the force deep inside me. That's what you sound like when you sleep, to be absolutely fucking honest. Jesus Christ, man. Angela, will you kill him? Just use the pillow. Use the
force,
middle.
Angela. Use the force.
You're in between us. You can reach him. Just use some semblance of force. That is what he sounds like when he's sleeping.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
I've repositioned him. It's fine.
We could remaster the corn thing, but do it better.
Yeah. But with like a lightsaber and I have the high ground.
And instead of an old man, you just have Yoda sat there. Some corn I would like in my mouth.
Oh my God, no. Leave Yoda out of it.
Oh my God.
Bradford can do a rapping version of that, can't you?
I met him in the swamp down in Dagobah.
That was sort of quasi-Jamaican.
It was a little bit.
I know.
Yeah. It's got a bit of a Calypso Yoda going on.
Yo. Yo. Yoda. Ah. Suck my dick, you will.
Oh,
Feel the force deep inside me.
So, I think we've covered everything rather exclusively and extensively.
Have we? Do you want me to do my best Darth Maul now, or no? Okay.
No.
Is there a Darth Maul impression?
Darth Maul, you baby.
No.
No. I think it's time
Mrs.
for you
H
to
is
go back in
like,
your box.
I wasn't paying attention.
I was paying attention. I was actually thinking I prefer a bit of Kylo Ren at the moment.
Who doesn't? With that cold, steely look.
Those wonderful temper tantrums, because it's what you want.
I enjoy the temper tantrums.
Noted.
But in the Last Jedi, he like really lift loads of weights and his chest get massive, and there were all those sort of internet memes about how his chest is like 6 times the size of any regular man's.
I'll go and Google it.
I think that's just in your head.
I think that was tune in you were feeling the force deep inside him.
For the Bedhoppers Describe memes on our next show, we'll shut up and take your money.
The Bedhoppers Describe. I would so like Mrs. H. I've not seen this meme.
I don't get it. Why?
I don't get a lot of things. No. Although I suspect you're shortly going to be doing some kind of Mrs. H plays Fortnite debacle.
There's going to be some training tonight. We're going to sort that out.
I am so bad.
Maybe we should live stream it, Twitch it, and everyone can watch the Mrs. H playing.
Can we
Fortnite.
do a by the by Bedhoppers live stream Twitch of Fortnite?
We must now. It's got to happen. I don't know how to Twitch, but we can figure that out.
I don't either, but
I don't even know what Twitch is.
But we can lose all of our followers. That's fine.
There you go. Exclusive for by the by Patreon members who
you level up every
got more time on their hands than they know what to do with.
Yes, watch us play Fortnite. Hey, shut up. Our Patreon people are fucking amazing. Our Discord chat is brilliant.
We love those guys. They are absolute
awesome.
It's
a gift.
It's a gift. That keeps on giving as well.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
And how do you get onto that Discord chat, Bradford?
Oh, shut up and tell me more. All you have to do is follow us on patreon.com/bytheby.
And then what does that give you? Does that give you exclusive access to the Discord chat and chatting to you lovely folks? It
does. And you know what? Some of our best friends on earth are on that Discord chat, including the Bedhoppers, both of you, which actually both of you somehow are active on it. Mrs. H doesn't listen to our podcast, but she participates in our Discord chat.
No, not true. Occasionally he makes me listen to one.
Fucking gold.
I know. You don't listen to us.
Okay, so back to Hump Fest.
Angela's like, wrap this shit up.
If people want more information about Hump Fest, where do they find that?
They go to humpfilmfest.com.
Oh, they do t-shirts and stuff as well, don't they?
They do all kinds of cool shit. Yeah. So yeah, you should definitely go. You can submit a film for 2022 coming up soon. Yeah,
check it out. It's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it, and am sad that I haven't seen it before now.
Yeah,
Agreed. Yeah.
100% with you. And I really like the fact that we just were able to have almost a date night, just chilling in, watching this and talking about it. And it's given us some content for the shows, which is even better.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my God, content creation. Woo!
Yeah, that's the bomb. So go check that out. Should we do a round table of where people can find us?
You can find us, that is By the By, at By the By Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram, and on the Facebooks. You can go to www.bytheby.com.au and you can submit questions, comments, sexy, rude remarks there. You can also email us, theatomsoflove@gmail.com. You can find the gentleman through us at Instagram. What are you on Instagram, gentlemen?
No, it's Twitter.
Twitter. What?
It's at _gentleman79.
There you go.
Snappy.
I also really like that he doesn't actually remember it. He's looking down at his phone right now.
Got it pulled up in front of him.
Have you got a bit on the inside of your arm?
But if you want to talk to us, like we already discussed, go to patreon.com/bythebypodcast, support us, and you can join our Discord chat, which is where all 5 of us are on there quite often, along with some of the greatest human beings on earth, sharing sexy pics, video and film and book recommendations, and sexy memes. Funny
there is a
memes.
meme, isn't there? Meme category on there.
There's a whole channel for memes. And if you need something to uplift your day, that's the place where you go.
That gets me through the week.
Yeah. And you, sexy bed hoppers, where can the listeners in the world find your beautiful faces?
Well, we are Bedhoppers Suck UK, Bedhoppers UK. If you want to say it properly on Twitter, bedhoppersuk@gmail.com. If you want to message us, we don't have a fancy ass website. Just look us up on Google, type in Bedhoppers swinging in the UK, and you can get us in and around your ears. And you'll probably see pictures and videos of us all over the bloody place because we are not that shy. So, feel free to get in touch and say hello or just yell abuse at us. That's often what we get through in the post. What I do want to add, though, actually, on your Discord chat, those pictures are really fucking hot. Those guys are.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
I've gotten to the point where I feel like, okay, I'm not going to put a picture of me up because I'm not nearly as sexy as all of our listeners. Our listeners are sexier than us. And I think that is a beautiful place to be in.
I'm okay with this because I'm very much enjoying looking at it.
It's a very, very sexy space. And, we will try and contribute some pictures now and then as well, just to join the crowd.
And you do. You posted just this past weekend, and we were very happy to see you in your hot tub on movie night.
Yeah. I was very happy to see me. Yeah, spa. It's just the hop in. It's the hop in. It's a bar. It's a hot tub. It's a movie theater. It's all of those things and more. But,
I'm promising you something that within the next 14 months, the three of us will be in your hop in.
That makes me very, very happy.
Yeah, I want the three of us to go to Europe together, and then I want it to be spent with the Bedhoppers.
You're a lot more hopeful than I am that we'll be able to leave our country.
14 months. That's why I said 14 months.
Find a way. Make it happen.
Just put yourselves in a parcel and post yourselves to us. A really big parcel, and then you can also do your next Hump Fest submission whilst in the parcel while you're killing those 6 weeks that it'll take to get here.
It's like, we'll call it 6 weeks in Angela's box. It's starting to smell in here.
I don't feel so good no more.
It tastes like burning.
Right, on that note, Sage, do you want to do your thing?
Do I want to do my thing?
Yeah, you can do the thank you
Can
for
I?
whatever, if you like.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah,
role in
say
this.
thank you for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes me happy. It'd be a very big bed, but yeah. Well, thank you, everyone, for hopping into our bed.
There we go. Boom.
And our bed.
And our bed.
Thank you for bed hopping into the by bed hopping.
Thanks for being in all the beds.
Yeah, it was all good.
Thanks for hopping on by.
Yeah.
See,
Exactly.
hop on by.
Oh, I like that. I like that you did that.
Nobody's ever been this clever. Want to say a massive, massive thank you to Bradford, Angela, the gentleman. I'd like to thank my parents, Yoko, Noodles, for all your... that was a really fun conversation. We really enjoyed ourselves. It was a really good time. But we are really, really excited because our next episode is episode 100.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, we've recorded this episode.
And are still alive.
That
is a good thing.
Yeah. So if you want to hear us get drunk...
Essentially, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much us get drunk and talk. There will be next week not only a podcast, but also a video version of that podcast, assuming that the video is okay and I've recorded everything all right.
How drunk were you?
Well, I think we'll cover that in the intro to next week. But let's just say neither one of us survived the night very well.
We did survive. We're not coming to you from beyond the grave.
Ooh.
Like zombie podcasters.
Zombie podcasters?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
That's the thing.
Well, let's just say it was a messy, messy evening.
It was fun.
And we captured it on video, or at least captured some of it on video, and we'll tell you about the rest of it. So stay tuned, come back in a couple of weeks' time, or, depending on when you're listening to this, just listen to the next one. And that's us celebrating the fact that we've got 100 episodes by drinking a lot, talking shit, and doing what we do best, which is fuck it up. Anyway, Mrs. H, do your thing.
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.